not a good week for the debut of this movie right here. The Last Voyage of the Demeter. Weekend gross is $6.5 million. That's a budget of $45 million. And that's a debut in 5th place. I was going to review this, but when I saw how low it did, I was like, well, I don't know how well the video would do. Which, I'm curious, though, and I don't know how many people, have y'all even heard about this movie? See, you don't even, I told you, nobody's heard about this. I hadn't seen one trailer. I hadn't seen anybody talking about it.
You know what it doesn't have, right? A big star.
Yeah. No, that's one thing. And when I saw that, it didn't have any marketing, didn't have a big star. Not that stars these days put people in movies, but it does get their attention. So to give you just a quick review of this movie, I'm gonna tell you, I like the movie. I don't think it's getting good reviews, and I don't think it's getting good word of mouth. Is it not? I don't think so.
Because I read some good things.
Well, I all I know is I read an article saying that it had, because I was reading the box office on this. I read that it had this much on Rotten Tomatoes, and this is what it had on the cinema score, audience score.
Yeah.
It has a B- in the audience score, and it has like a 40-something% on Rotten Tomatoes, I think. I like the movie.
I liked it too. I wasn't in love with it, but I did like it. There's a lot of craft and care that goes in it. I liked all the performances. Korey Hawkins has a fantastic British accent.
Yeah.
Everybody loves Liam Cunningham, guy from Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And your boy David Dasmalchian, he's great in it.
Yeah, it's a movie where, if I can describe it, it's like Alien on a ship. You know, the reason why I say Alien is because if you've ever watched Alien is they call them truckers in space, blue collar workers in space. If you ever watch the movie Alien, it's a group of people on a spaceship talking about they couldn't wait to get home to get their bonuses. And that's what they were talking about in this right here. And then a creature breaks loose on the ship and just fucks up everybody's day.
Picking them off one by one.
And that's what this does here. I agree with you 100% that this movie, it just looks like this movie was made with a lot of care and sincerity, and it feels like they were making a movie. They weren't making some again. They weren't making some studio product. It's a good-looking film, and a lot of great performances, and especially for $45 million,
I know
it looks amazing. And if you don't know what the movie is, it's based on a small chapter in Dracula, where Dracula is being brought from Eastern Europe over to England. And he just tears that shit up, until it docks and there's no one left alive on it. So if I have to say why I feel like this movie didn't do well, one, nobody heard about the fucking thing. Everybody is like, I heard of this shit. Marketing was terrible on this. They could have, you're right, we're not in the age of pitching movies with actors. Had this movie been pitched like a horror movie and had more marketing, I think it could have done a whole lot better. But I think audiences didn't like the movie because the movie's a bummer, man. All right, I don't want to give too much away, but I mean, it's depressing. It's pretty hopeless. I mean, we're talking about, they tell you in the beginning it's a doomed ship, so spoiler alert right there. But it's just, the movie's relentless, man. It's a heartless film, and it's dealing with a heartless creature. Don't care about age, species, status, any of that. So I think it's a very bleak movie.
Yeah.
And audiences just didn't resonate with that, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's I guess not quite a prequel to Dracula, but it kind of is in the early part. So if you know anything about it, they got it. They tell you in the trailer that it's Dracula, so you know where it's gonna go.
Yeah,
you know they ain't taking the creature out.
Yeah.
You know what? For me, I liked so much about it, but the climax I wasn't so crazy about because it got a little blockbustery where it hadn't been that before.
Yeah,
and especially like the very last scene was almost like, but the sequel though. Don't do stuff like that.
Right. Good for you. Yeah. Korey Hawkins. First of all, I got to look out for my fellow Koreys out there.
Sure.
But Korey Hawkins is great.
Yeah.
You've never seen this side of Korey Hawkins. Korey Hawkins is finally showing his range right here. Like you said, he had a great British accent, and he's a great character in the film. I guess the only thing that kept it from being great for me is that because everything about it, production-wise, is great. acting is great. Yes, and what's his name? Desmalchin. What's his name?
David Desmalchin.
David Desmalchin. He's that guy's an amazing actor.
Right. But he doesn't always get to show what he can do, and I feel like he did here.
Yeah.
Like both of those actors were really showing their range.
Yeah, and if you don't know who David Desmalchin is, you've seen him.
You've seen him in everything.
Yeah, he was. You know what? I'm gonna show you him, and if I can find him, and everybody knows who he is because there he is. There he is right there, David Desmalchin. I actually interviewed the guy. You couldn't talk to a more humble and nice guy. This guy deserves everything he gets. He was a drug addict at one time and recovered and turned his life around amazingly. But he'll tell you, like, what made him, everybody remembers him as that crazy motherfucker from The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
The one they pull that mask on. That's how great he is. When he made that face, everybody like, fuck, who is that?
Yeah.
These characters, they're there to die.
Yeah.
In fact, you know who's going to die first. Somebody talking shit, and you're like, all right, shut up, man. Yeah, the characters are just not that interesting. I'm not saying they're bad. They just don't have enough, there's not enough time there.
Yeah.
It's a very formula film, and it's funny because it's a great premise to have Dracula taking down this ship in this chapter of the novel, but it's still a matinee movie. It's still well made.
Yeah.
It's still fun to watch.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be that deep. And for those people who were criticizing this film, wow, he's still looking crazy. For those people criticizing it, listen, I teach their own. Maybe some people didn't like the darkness of it. Maybe some people didn't like the formulaic aspect of it. I don't understand the heavy, criticism on it because I think it was a fine film. It was okay.
Yeah, the only criticism I've heard from actual people, not reading, was that they were baffled because in some ways it stays so faithful to the book, and other ways it deviates in ways that made them go, why'd they choose to do that?
Well, yeah, and also some people expecting to see, they're like, oh shit, I can't wait to see Count Dracula, with his smooth ass. No, this is a creature. This is Dracula in the phase where he's still a demon-like creature. And he's fiending for blood. He ain't smooth yet.
Right.
We ain't getting pimp Dracula yet. But that's another thing with this movie why it probably did not do well. Just ain't nobody messing with Dracula right now. Unless you are an exceptional and a great Dracula movie, ain't nobody messing with you. Renfield.
Yeah.
Did not do very well.
True.
It just ain't time for Dracula movies, man.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I don't know.
Back to the coffin.
Yeah. So much for that Count Chocolate movie, man. I don't
know. That could be the one.
That might be one breakout. It'd be like Barbie.
Honestly, if Renfield had been about Count Chocula, I bet everybody would have loved it. Same movie, just making Count Chocula instead of Dracula.
Yeah, he's just mentally abusing Frankenberry. Yeah, man, it's just not a good time for Dracula movies. Unless you kid-friendly Dracula, then
kid-friendly.
If you Hotel Transylvania or something, then
Yeah, I think those even kind of dying off.
Even those died off. Yeah, everybody fucking with Dracula today.
Maybe Twilight.
No, Twilight ruined it for everybody. That's what it is. And ain't nobody's like crazy about vampires now because they were glittering and shit before.
Yeah.
Although I did like that last Twilight movie that came out. When they were all
like the last 10 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Man, I got my ass. Tony and I got our asses whooped for liking the first Twilight.
Oh, that's right.
Because we didn't know shit about Twilight.
Right.
We went and saw it and went to the theater and it was. Some of y'all haven't heard this. The first time Twilight came out, I hadn't heard of that shit, but we knew we had to review it. So we went to a midnight screening of it and walked in there and wanted to walk right the fuck out because there was nothing but teenage girls in there with pajamas. I'm like, what kind of sting ass operation is this?
Please, gentlemen, come sit down.
Yeah.
What's in the bag?
Girls were treated like
popcorn.
Yeah, man.
Wine coolers.
Yeah, I was about to say I immediately threw them wine coolers. When you believe, ain't that something? What a coincidence. Tony and I decided to get wine coolers and watch Twilight with a bunch of teenage girls in pajamas. Wow, huh? No, I guess the girls were treated like a slumber party or something.
Yeah.
But we said, all right, whatever. And then we sat down and watched it. And all these girls were freaking the fuck out over this movie, man. And we were like, all right, it's okay, it's for this audience. So we're like, all right, fine. And we went back and said, hey, it's a matinee. Obviously, these girls were watching it, and we didn't think it was terrible. And people are like, what kind of bitches are y'all like in this movie? Wow, you like that? You like that stupid shit? Them glowing-ass, glittering-ass vampires? I'm like, what the fuck did we do? What did we do?